I really wanted to ask you, so this might be a very simple question, and I'm pretty sure you heard it throughout the whole CES, but so how did this smart brick come into life, and what kind of visionary that you had when this first came to be?
So the idea came about 8 years ago. We'd been looking at physical play and what kids love about it, and they still love plenty about the bricks, but also maybe some opportunities. And we saw 2 or 3 things that came up a few times. One is social play.
Okay.
The second one is sort of dynamic play. Kids, are often quite used to in other toys, other gaming systems. You do something in the morning, you go to school, you come back, something's changed.
Right.
Whereas that maybe hasn't been the case with traditional Lego models. They're still sitting there unless your little sister knocked them off the shelf or something. And they're used to having, or they wanted more agency. Set their own rules. And we thought, well, how do we bring that into the Lego system in a way that feels really natural to the Lego system? With the Lego system, you just pick up bricks and you mix them together. So you want that freedom. We wanted sets that interact and work together. So once you have that idea, that's what you want to do. Then very quickly, interactivity is important because that's where the agency and the social comes from. But also, kind of a small brick that very easily goes in multiple models becomes very natural, and then a real high degree of awareness of models between each other. And so once you get to that point, it very quickly, it's no longer one big kind of robot or whatever, it's multiple small little things. And once you've got multiple small little things, some of the key features then become apparent because it's pretty painful to change the batteries on one big robot. It's really painful to change the batteries on 5 little things that are built into models, and maybe you have to take them out. So then you need wireless charging. If you want sets to be playing with, you're having a race, you need to know who's winning, right? It's not much of a fun race if you don't know who's winning.
Right.
So then you need model-to-model sensing. And from there, the feature set starts to establish itself. We then found that the technologies didn't really exist, or not in the format that we felt we needed, and that's why it turned into a little bit of a challenging technology development.
So it took you about 8 years to...
Well, 8 years from the concept, probably 6 years of really sort of full-bore development.
Okay, I did want to ask you, it's a 2x4 brick, right?
It's 5 plates high, so it's slightly higher.
Slightly higher than the regular 2x4.
But it is a 2x4, and it will click in with a standard 2x4.
Is it as painful as 2x4 brick when you stand on it?
I have not tried that. I have had to hit it very hard with a hammer, or we have, because it's got a battery in, for product safety, we have to make sure that it doesn't crack. So it's been hit very hard with a hammer, but I've not actually stood on it.
Because I actually stood on a 2x4 when I was reading to Las Vegas.
So the durability is around similar as the regular 2x4 brick, right?
In terms of, it is made from the same material that we make our other bricks, and obviously with electronics inside, we actually in some ways need to make it more durable because we don't want kids accessing batteries and electronics and those sorts of things. So, it has a good physical durability appropriate to the appropriate standards and the sort of bricks that and love. And then in terms of long lifetime, obviously these bricks, many people pass them down to a generation or two.
Right.
We have wanted to make a brick that lasts a significant amount of time. We don't want to just, you buy a brick and then you have to buy another one the next year and another one the next year. We want a brick that if you bought it 3-4 years ago and you get a new set, even 5 or 6 years ago, hopefully it'll still work. So we've thought quite hard about longevity. I think a lifetime as long as traditional plastic bricks is probably optimistic for electronics, but we've really tried to make it something that lasts a lot longer than people expect.
Oh, yeah, thanks. And this is a question that I have, but I'm not too sure if it's right to ask about it. But I used to own the original Millennium Falcon series, the 4,000 or 5,000 piece. But now, if you go on to Chinese markets, there's a knockoff version about it. About maybe even 1/10 of the price or so. So I did want to ask, so the smart bricks, you said there were NFC sensors and Bluetooth devices inside the brick. Is it possible that maybe some other third party might plagiarize it or maybe make a knockoff of it or so? And if they actually do, what do you have in mind for that to block it or so? Because it's going to come out in March, right?
It's coming out in March. It's not our job to block other people doing, perfectly legitimate things. So if they want to try and recreate something similar, I think the technology is going to be quite hard for people to recreate. And in terms of the actual implementation, the tiles and there's security in place so that people might find it hard to, even if they can recreate some of the aspects, it might not work with it. We'd really prefer that other people's systems don't work with ours unless we've been very deliberate about it, just for a child safety kind of perspective. I think ultimately we'd be very happy if people start to create more physical play that is interactive and rich. We do think that there's quite a lot here that would be quite hard to copy, but we welcome people doing knockoffs. We prefer not to see, but folks doing legitimate design work of their own, and then seeing what else they can do is fair game.
Yeah, well, it's a currently 2x4 size and little tags, right?
Yes, the tags are 2x2.
Yeah,
one player.
So, do you have any future plans for like different size tags, or maybe built-in tags or built-in smart bricks or so?
We're not announcing plans beyond what we've shown here, but I think as I tried to say at the keynote, we see this as a platform that goes many, many years. And therefore it's likely that in time we'll find out what are the things that if we added that, would bring a whole new aspect to life. We do like the idea that it's like the traditional Lego brick. You can maybe take new combinations of existing elements rather than create new elements, right? I can put two 2x4s together rather than have to make something different. And so ideally we'll just find new ways of using what we've done, but if there's areas, and we've certainly thought about it, if there's areas in which we feel like we need some new ones, then it's certainly something we would think about, but no plans to announce right at the minute.
Okay, so the first series of Smart Bricks and the Smart Play are the Star Wars series, right?
Yes.
And so maybe the next versions will be like your original Lego series, or?
I honestly can't announce anything beyond what we've shown there.
Sorry.
It's fine. You're welcome to ask, and it's a perfectly fair question. But just as a company, we like to tell people what we're doing right now, and then keep the surprise for a little bit later.
Then could you tell us the reason why you chose Star Wars as the first?
Do you want to speak to the Mike and Chris, because Mike has had a product for Lego Star Wars, and he can talk about that process. Tom can as well. It's just
There'll be just like one single question. So
Fine, I'll take it. I mean, there's two reasons. One is it's been a tremendous partnership over many years, and when you do something new like this, you need to have a tremendous partner with you. The other part is they're really good fit. Lego Star Wars is a galaxy where people make their own stories. There's a lot of stories to make, but there's a lot of fans out there who are making a lot of good stories, and the type of play lends itself to what we're trying to do. So it really fitted well from the play. It really fitted well from the kind of story, the narrative, and it really fitted well because they've been such a good partner of ours for such a long time.
So do you also see the target group larger with the Star Wars because they're the young and the old and
Yeah.
yeah?
Ultimately we think we've just made some sets that a lot of people will love, and I'm hearing a lot of joy out there. It's not up to us really to say who does and doesn't buy our things. For the platform as a whole, I can imagine many different play experiences aimed at many different people. We hope that this is something that particularly kids who love Star Wars franchise and Lego Star Wars as well will really enjoy. If I'm honest, it wouldn't surprise me if a few adults buy the odd set.
So I am actually looking forward to making one with my son because my son also loves Star Wars and Lego. So would be a good opportunity.
That'd be really cool. I mean, you picked the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter and Luke Skywalker from Episode 6, so I thought it was going to be like Episode 7 or 8 that actually comes out, but it's like the traditional version of the Star Wars,
I mean,
right?
this is where it's probably best to talk to the team who've made that.
7 and 8.
We're very happy to have them. As I understand it, we just felt that starting with the classic, the classic saga was a great place to start. We like the fact that in Star Wars as well as Lego Star Wars, there's a sort of generational thing. Parents love, that with their children. We also felt that it really makes for great play. So it seemed to fit really well. I'm sure the folks next door who were closer to the decision making can tell you more, but that's as I understand it where it came from.
Guys, time for one more. That's okay.
Oh yeah, just one more. Okay. The last thing I really wanted to ask you about was, well, Lego did participate in the CES 2025, correct? I think you did some kind of announcement with Sony or so.
I'll double check that. But carry on.
Yeah. So it was actually a quite shock that you were going to reveal such like smart bricks and smart play as a keynote session, because there were no leakages or there were no previews of what will be coming to the CES. So I did hear it in the keynote speech, but is there a particular reason why Lego decided to pick CES 2026 for the
So there's a couple of reasons. Normally we show products as product drops in a venue suitable for a new product, but we really want to announce a platform. That this is something that goes beyond, just a wave. But this is something we're really investing for the long term, and we see has a lot of things. Also, there's a level of technology here that I think is quite a lot deeper than we've put elsewhere, and we really felt that we wanted a place where to have a different type of conversation. CES is a place where innovators talk about their platforms and try and release platforms to the world. It's also a place where, from the consumer side, a lot of good conversation about technology, and so we thought putting those two together makes it, quite a good spot.
Okay, that's really great.